Hello everyone, this is Will from Apple 121. Today we are going to discuss the preview app in iOS 26 that came out. For me, a revolutionary app that was introduced that allows us to do more with our PDFs, more with our images that we couldn't do before. And I'm so glad Apple brought this out because it is a very powerful app that allows you to skip buying Adobe products, which is like Adobe Reader, which we don't need to have. So we're going to go over the preview app today, some of the great features that it has. Please subscribe to our channel, guys. We really do appreciate you reaching out to us, giving the comments. We respond to every comment that we can, and we want to continue growing and getting that 10,000 subscriber. I cannot believe we're getting to that, close to that. So let's go ahead and move forward with the preview app. So number one, we are doing this on an iPad today. There is a version of it on the iOS version if you wanted to use that. In this case, we're going to get more room real estate, so that's why we're going to do it this way. All right, so we're going to open up the preview app. Now, a lot of times you might open the preview app just by opening one of the files you're working with before going into preview, but I wanted to go over this a little bit so you can see the interface. So first we're going to talk about the toolbar. So we do have the left side toolbar. This opens up our Files app. It's connected directly to there. So you will also, if you have an iCloud drive, you'll have access to all your iCloud information here available to you. But also if you don't, you have stuff just on your iPad. Preview does have its own folder if you want to store items into the folder as well. So let's go to back where we just were. Let's swipe down. So we have our recent section right here. We can use the recents if we have recent items that we're going to take a look at. These are actually 4 items we're going to look at. Shared files. So if you have any shared folders that have content in it that preview can understand, it's here. Now it's only showing items that preview can actually look at. And then you have browse, which is what we saw before if we opened up the sidebar. On the right side, we have the right tool here. Now, this is an empty image. What this is going to be is that you can actually just start typing and drawing and doing things. So if you're trying to take notes in classes, this would be very valuable to you. So I'm going to actually just hit add text. So now that we have the text, we're going to go to making text, whatever, it doesn't really matter. And then I could draw, so we have drawing tools, so we could draw right on the pad here. So again, we're creating a blank image. If I go to the eye information right here, as you can see, it's showing it's a PNG file. That's what it's creating by default, so that way you understand that. I'm gonna go back one step. This actually just saved the file and automatically, and then I could just tap it, and then we could go back and start drawing again. You could do cropping, selecting and cropping. You could do turning it different directions. And then of course you can hit share, and you could share it to a bunch of people. So I'm not sure how often you're going to use the writing tool feature, but it also does have a new from clipboard. So if you have copied something from the web and you want to basically paste it here, you can do that as well. So if I have an image, I'm just going to hold down my finger on this and I can go to copy. Let's go ahead and hold this down. Copy. Let's see if the preview will understand that clipboard option. So let's go ahead and go to the writing tool, new from clipboard, and it pasted it, and there it is. So it actually just copied and pasted an image directly from the web. So you can go ahead and do that as well if you wanted to do an extra step. So if you don't want to download it, you could do it that way as well. Let's go back. Next one is scanning documents. So we're going to position a document here. I'm going to go ahead and scan my bowling scores. I actually bowled a 800 series, which is a very big accomplishment for me. All right, great. And if I tap on this now, I can make some changes to it if I want to do grayscale only, if I want to do black and white, if I want to do photo style, and then I could just give the check mark. And if I want to do more, I could do more, but in this case, I'm going to save. And then it saves it right here. And now if I go backwards, and then I'm going to call it 800 series. And there we go. So that is the basic tools. And then we have right here all of the organizing tools. So if you wanted to create a new folder, if you want to connect to a server, so if you have a server that you have to connect to, you can do that as well. I do actually have the ability to do that with my VPN at work. We could do list mode, so if you'd rather see this in a list mode, and then you have a sorting based on kind, according by date, so you can go ahead and mess around with these settings, and then you could just do a search. So if I'm just searching for my 800 series, it'll just search for it. So that is just before getting into preview app, that is how you do it. Let's go to the recent section. We're going to work on a few things here that preview can do. So number one, we're going to open up this form, and one of the features that this was around before, but we're going to do it again, is a autofill. So there's an autofill form, and all I have to do is just tap on the autofill form section. Now, not every form I'm sure will be automatically working like this, but in this case it does. Also on the left side, if you notice here, we have a pane. This is where you can have more. If you want to see more PDFs, you could insert a blank page. You could insert from a file. You could scan more pages into this PDF. So you can see the power that this app does actually have in here. Autofill form. And now we're in an autofill form setting. So if I just tap on it, on the bottom, you will see my name pop up. I'm blurring it out for our reasons, but you can go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to go to birthplace. And then this one doesn't know that, so our place of birth. So I'm just going to type in New York. And then I could use tab because I actually have a keyboard. And then I could do place of birth of date. So I'll do a fake date, 6/7/85, and then tab down, full address, and now you can see all my full addresses are down here. And as we go across, you can see this can be filled out. Skipping all the major stuff, we're going to go down here to the type of membership. There's these check boxes. I'm just going to check a box off. Well, I just typed in a symbol here. You can go ahead and do that. You can see it's actually kind of off center if you notice that. There's some things that we can't control, but I'm going to just tap away from the form. And now the form is technically filled out. As you can see, it didn't do a great job as far as organizing goes. But as you can see, because I'm done autofilling the form, I could just move the text boxes. That way it fixes them. So I'm just moving them and tapping them around. I also have my keyboard. Since I have my keyboard hooked up here, I could drag things around. So like this item right here is not exactly centered. So I'll try to drag it. It's very small. I'm going to actually just make this a little bit bigger. So let's go ahead and make it bigger. And that's good enough. Okay, so that just shows you how you can fill out a form on here, and then we're just going to go backwards, and the file just automatically saves on there. Let's do another test. All right, so this is a really big file. If I open up the sidebar here, you can see we have a ton of files in here. So what are some things that we could do? Well, if there's one page in here that you don't need, you can actually delete the page. So as you can see, as I hold my finger down, I could do delete page, and that's exactly what it's going to do. It deletes a page from the PDF. No different than if I tap on this, and then I could do the blank page again, or insert from a file. The same things we saw before. So for some reason, if I want to scan pages, I can actually just scan my bowling score again. Let's go ahead and scan that in there. And save it. It puts it in the document. So there you go. So I added to the PDF. Now, the main reason I wanted to do this was a search. So if I tap on the search tool, I can now search for certain words in here that I want to look for. So we're going to look for the word master. Okay. And what that's done now is it's now going through each page with the word master in it. So that way you could scan your document and try to find what you're looking for. If you tap on the little search icon, you can do whole words or match case. And I just wanted to show you the search tool, which by the way is a floating bar now. And that's just going through and searching your document. Let's open up another one. I'm going to go directly from the Files app. So I'm inside of Files now, and what I'm going to do is just hold my finger down, and I need to download this item. Open with. Preview is the default app, but as you can see, there are other options. So I'm going to open up in Preview. Now this file is pretty big. So what I want to end up doing is I want to make this a little bit smaller because this is a little big. And if I want to share this right now, this file is actually quite big in there. It's 150 megabytes, as you can see in the preview app here. Very, very big file. But if I want to share this out, it's kind of difficult. So what I'm going to do on the arrow is there's an option here called export. So let's go to export. And then I could change this around. As you can tell right now, it's giving me format options that I want to do with it. So I want to make it a JPEG, and then I want to make it a certain size. So I'm going to do JPEG, and I want the file under 2 megabytes. That's like a good size. Okay, 523, let's go with that. I'm going to hit the check mark, and now I get to decide where I want to save it. So I'm going to just go right on my iPad, and then I'm just going to hit the check mark. And now it's circling on the top right here of the export image. You can see it's circling because it's got to take time to create that file. And now let's go to the Files app on my iPad, and there's the file at 1.2 megabytes. And as you can tell, this is a much quicker, much faster file to work with. So we can go ahead and actually change JPEGs. We can go ahead and we can change PDF sizes and stuff like that. Same thing with images. If you want to take the image and you want to change the format around, you can go ahead and do that. You could duplicate things in here. If you want to do that, you can rename them, you can move them. So if I want to move this to a different section of files, I can. We are getting a lot more control now within side of these apps. What I'm going to quickly just go over one more time is just some of these tools up here, and then we'll end it on that. So this is, again, basically like a crop tool. It's basically a way to crop out a section of something. And then I can go ahead. I'm actually moving this around. Let me go to the corner. It's a little hard to, this is the one thing I'm noticing about this, is that it's a little hard to grab the corners here. And then just, as you can see, it cropped the image out. You can always go backwards. I believe there is an undo in here. Yes, there is. So you can go ahead and undo something. You could rotate. You could do markup. Information about the file, including the image, DPI, all that stuff, very info heavy information. You could share. Oh, it crashed on me. Pushing the iPad to its limits here. I do have an M1, by the way, iPad here. I'm just very low on storage. So if you see this acting a little funky, it's because my storage room is very low here. If I go to the share, I could do all the share items that you normally do, airdrop, things like that. And then you could do all these different adjustments, rotating, size. So if you want to adjust the size around, so we can actually go ahead and change the dimensions right here, and we can scale up proportionally. That way, again, we can make a smaller size file. We can flip horizontally, vertically, and we can remove the background. So there is a remove background feature. Now, I don't have an image to show that, but as you can see, oh, that was actually pretty good. It actually removed all the text, all the greenery, and the background just leaves them. So there is a green feature. So if you're grabbing an image from the web and you need to be a PNG or something like that, you can actually remove the background completely out of it. That was actually very powerful. Let's undo that. Finally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the Windows app feature, so that way we can have a menu bar now. And now that I've made that change, in the preview app, there is going to be a menu bar now at the top because I changed the features around. So there are ways now to have a toolbar basically available to you on the top here. So if you find that this is, instead of doing the full apps, you can go ahead and change this. In fact, you can go and actually adjust the toolbar. So one feature that you can't do if you're in the full app that you can do with these is you can actually have customized settings here. So we can actually just drag items that we want to do. Like we have export right here, so I don't even have to go to an extra step here. I can also zoom in on the document. I can do that remove background in here. So what I'm doing is I'm adding tools to this toolbar, and that's one of the benefits of having windowed apps, is that I can now go ahead and add some really cool tools that I did directly from the view under the customized toolbar. Go through this. So there's a lot of things you could do within here. You can go to File and do a whole bunch of things directly from File. You can go right to Print from here as well if you want to do that instead of going to the Share. Of course, Command P is our best friend if you want to do that. So you can go ahead and print a file if necessary. And then go ahead and do the print feature on here, and then you just choose the printer. Also, by the way, the share item is here as well. This is a feature that you could do in printing, is you can share out of here. So there are so many different tools on here, including now that I have the toolbar, all I gotta do is just swipe from the top, and then I can also just change this around. Now I can actually have more than one preview app open to me if I wanted to, and I can also resize just by holding my finger and moving it to the left here, and then having another preview file on the right here. So there is so many things to work with in here. So that's the preview app. I hope you guys learned something very valuable from this app on this tutorial. There's a lot in this tutorial. There's a lot of things you could do in preview, and I wanted to give you just some of those really amazing tools that you could do within the app. If you have any questions, please definitely hit us up, or if there's anything that we didn't talk about, definitely let us know, and we will absolutely look at it and try to help you fix that problem. But we appreciate you guys looking at all of our stuff today and all of our stuff in the future. Thank you very much, everyone, and I love every single one of you.